Happiness is beautiful, it's a kind reality. Happiness is the highest good, happiness is free. So let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy.
Welcome to the Happiness Show. This is George Ortega. I'm here with Lionel Ketchian, and we're here to talk about happiness because happiness is, always has been, and always will be the point of it all. Today we'll be talking about happiness, laughter, and movement, and we're very pleased and honored to have a special guest with us tonight. Marilyn Galfin is a professional clown in Manhattan, and she also runs laughter workshops in the city. Marilyn, why don't you start us off by explaining your work?
My beginnings. My beginnings in the Yumba circuit. Well, actually, many years ago, I started as a dancer in college. I got my degree. I've always loved to move, feel what it's like to be in my body and express myself through movement. And then I went to California, and I saw my first mime class, and it was really wonderful. I saw somebody doing this. I said, wow, look at that. Like, it blew me away. So I started studying mime. The mime led to improvisation. Then I went back to New York. I got into a mime troupe. And then I got into clowning, which opened up a whole new realm for me. It's absolutely wonderful. From the clowning, I got into laughter, became a certified laughter leader. And from that, it got developed into the workshops I'm doing now, doing a laughter club. It's called Laugh-O-Rama, the New York City Laughter Workout Club. And I'm also doing something called the Playtime Workshop, which is a way for grown-ups to access the spontaneity that we had as children. So basically, my philosophy is health, healing, happiness, and anything positive and good through play and laughter. And that just all fits so much into the whole idea of happiness, because when you're playing, when you're laughing, you're experiencing the ultimate of joy and happiness.
Are you still doing mime? No?
I do mime occasionally. You might see me like at a store or a party. You might not recognize me because usually if I'm doing mime, I'm like this. You know, freeze pose. You know, and as a mime for years I didn't talk, you know. I was like, you should be seen and not heard. And then I got into the clowning, and then the stand-up. I forgot stand-up, of course. I do stand-up comedy as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Let
me ask you something, because you've devoted your life pretty much to helping others become happier. Why is it you did that?
It wasn't like my mission to make other people happy. It just became organic. I was people's comic relief. You know, if people were depressed or down, hey, let's call Marilyn, she's comic relief. It's just always been my nature, my life journey for whatever. I was always playful and always having a good time. And I found it's very medicinal. What can I say? You know, people would, you know, come around me again when I'm laughing and having a good time and being very spontaneous. It is very magnetic, and it wasn't a choice at the time. It just is what I was doing, and I never made a choice in my life like I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going to make people laugh, make people feel good. It just started happening. And then when I got into the whole idea of the laughter in my spiritual journey, it's like, wait a minute, I have all these tools, so I could teach people how to access this through the type of workshops that I'm doing.
Yeah, before we started, you were sort of going into this happiness telethon. Would you mind giving us a little more of that so the people in the audience can say that was fun? Go for it.
Well, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Happiness Central. We have two happy guys here. We have a happiness number guy from Connecticut, representing happiness from Connecticut. And we have happiness man from Westchester, representing Westernarian happiness. Yes, happiness is all around us, and you can dial in 1-800 and send in your smiles. We're collecting smiles now in our Smile and Happiness Marathon. Do you know that one smile a day can bring joy and happiness to thousands of people around the world? This is one disease of happiness we don't want to wipe out. Smiling and happiness is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and we hope it spreads like wildflower.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wildflower.
Wildflower. Whatever they are like. I've never met a wildflower, but spreads wild, like wild weeds.
Marilyn, let me ask you something. there are like so many ways that we can like access happiness. I mean, you know, through success, through relationships, through you know, different avenues. Now, why did you choose laughter, or why did that happen within you?
It's probably in my genes. I think it's something hereditary. It's hard to find why. It's just that it is, and I'm using what I have.
All
I
right,
feel like I have this gift, and actually this gift has been trying to be stifled, because someone who's very playful, as an adult, as you get older, we get stifled all the time. Grow up, be serious, what are you laughing at? And as a comedian, I work with props a lot. And people say, oh, you know, you're hiding behind your props. And what I've learned through my process and my journey is I have to just let out what is mine naturally. I believe we all are bundles of joy and happiness, just like children. And I use children as my guide. You learn from kids.
All right, I think I have an idea. I think part of, I mean, even though it was very visceral and natural and genetic for you, I think that like what happens is like smiling is the happiness behavior. I mean, for sure they know that we begin smiling a few days after we're born. We may actually be smiling in the womb. So I mean, that is the quintessential happiness behavior, right? And when you think about it, laughter is like smiling to the extreme. It's like ecstatic smiling. So yeah, basically you focused on that aspect of happiness that is the most physical, the most expressive, probably the most natural.
It is. As a matter of fact, I think it's a Navajo, in the Navajo culture, they have their first smile ceremony. And I have two different versions of it. And one is they keep the kid on a cradle board until it does its first laugh, and then they throw a party. And then there's another one that I heard that they tickle or smile the face till the child smiles, which is a way of entering into its sociability and also on a journey to a happy life. And I thought that's so cool.
That is
like,
really
why don't we
great.
have that here?
We need that.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, how you are with children. It's like, oh, look at them, their first smile. We should do that as adults. Oh, look at George. You know, George made that funny face. I think the way that something happens, when you're born, you're naturally, I think, in the bliss consciousness. As animals, they're just
right
there.
Right after the birth trauma. Right?
First you got to go over the birth trauma, about 15 years of therapy. And it's funny, you know, because they say everything is, we're always going back to what was. It's like you're born into the natural state of joy and bliss. Children laugh hundreds and hundreds of times a day. As an adult, some people laugh maybe once or twice. What happens? There's a gap we fall into, and we start getting trained. As soon as we get, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so start getting older. Behave, do this, do that. All these things that are put on top of us. And then again, as you get older, don't laugh, take it serious. And I find myself, I've gotten into situations that, you know, people look at you sometimes with their eyes. If you're having a good time, you can be serious, you know, and you'll read this in the laughter movement. You can be serious about things, but you take yourself lightly. There is so much chaos and so much heaviness in the world. If you don't balance it out with some joy and some laughter and some play, I think, you know, it's not a good thing. And there's a guy, Herodotus, and someone please let me know how to pronounce this.
Herodotus.
Herodotus. Oh, 3 strikes.
Sounds good.
3 strikes. That sounds good. Herodotus. He said, 425 BC, folks. He says, if a man insisted on always being serious and never allowed himself a bit of fun and relaxation, he would become mad or unstable without knowing it. And
Was he talking about our society today?
That's what I mean. I think the guy was right on. We've become insane. We've lost our minds.
That's true. Now, Marilyn, you also are a clown, and you do your work or fun. You do your play in hospitals, and
yes.
So you have a chance to blend, to take the most serious of situations. So I'm sure you've seen people with the death experience, right? And you're giving them laughter and light, even then.
Yeah, the thing this is wonderful is doing therapeutic clowning. You're, you know, in different hospitals. You're dealing with children that, you know, can have life-threatening diseases. What we do, though, is that we always play to the healthy part of a child. We don't say, like, this is a child and this is sick. We say, well, here's a child. You know, maybe some issues are going on, but we don't play like this is a sick child. We play there's a child sitting there. So we play to the child that's there. And we entertain the child. And we've seen situations, even adults that may be in the room, it can really change darkness in the room into light. It's a way, it may not change the situation of the outcome, but in those few minutes, it could really turn the situation around. And my feeling, I have the same way, there's aha, there's hope. You know, when there's laughter, there's hope. And, you know, when we're in that kind of situation, it's transformative.
Yeah, actually, have you worked with adults in hospital settings? Because I mean,
well, when we're in the hospitals, the focus is on the children, but there's also adults. We're playing with the adults. We're playing with the healthcare providers. Basically, we're almost in a 360 situation. We're really playing to all the situations around us. And sometimes, because we only focus on pediatrics, we might go down a ward where there's adults. And they go, oh, why don't you come to us? And I think it's important, no matter what age, laughter is a tool, no matter...
Again, why, I mean, you mentioned that, like, you know, when we're really young, we laugh very naturally, just very instinctively. And then as we become acculturated, go through school and all, we stop laughing. What is it that happens? And how can we get that back?
Well, that's why I teach, like a workshop I teach, is it's bringing people back to that. As people go through life, they start to feel something's missing. And what's missing is you. Play, when you look at kids, children are playing for the pure sake of playing. When they're laughing, it's the pure act of laughing. As adults, we get intellectual. We analyze. Children don't analyze and go, oh, I shouldn't laugh at this. Oh, let me think about this. It's spontaneous. They're in what I call the zone. They see things for the first time. Children are curious. As adults, again, we are, you know, I remember when I was a kid, you know, that's unladylike. We all have messages we've gotten. You know, boys, don't cry. Girls, that's not ladylike. This is serious. You shouldn't laugh at this. Messages. It's the societal training.
How about the idea, though, because, like, Lionel, I remember you were talking about, like, when you were in school, what is it, 3rd grade or something? Why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, you know, you were talking about we're born with it, and then around, you said around 7 or 8 years old. Well, that's when we're going to school. And it's the, not to, you know, belittle or, you know, talk about teachers, but when I was going to school, and I'm 58 and I went to school in Manhattan, so give you some idea, I think a teacher pretty much put the curb on my happiness because I'm smiling and I'm happy and I'm laughing, and a teacher looked at me and said, wipe that smile off your face.
Yeah.
And they just, and basically we have to understand it was an issue of control. It was so that they could preserve order in the classroom. And so happiness was not understood, and so there's a different. Isn't it interesting that if teachers could really understand happiness, they could better control people?
But then there's a question that arises. It's not just, unfortunately, life isn't just about happiness, because there's this other aspect of life having to do with goodness. In other words, like, it could be to a certain extent that sometimes our parents, our teachers, tell us to stop smiling and stop laughing because maybe we're laughing at the wrong thing sometimes. So how do we develop that awareness of, like, you know, how to laugh at things that are good? Like, you know, somebody slips and breaks their head or something, that's not funny. I mean, we see that funny on TV, but in life. So how do we address that?
Well, the thing that's wonderful about in the laughter clubs is because we use laughter, pure laughter.
It's contagious.
As a pure way you would go to, like, a yoga class. We're dealing as an exercise class. You're actually getting a mild cardio workout. What's happening? You're pumping your diaphragmatic muscles. You're getting more oxygen into your body. You're relaxing the tension in your body. You're boosting your immune system.
Marilyn, you know what Norman Cousins said about that? Laughter is inner jogging.
It is.
Yeah.
You're inner jogging. So you have your inner child, you got a whole inner world going on. You have inner laughter, outer laughter. What happens is when you do outer laughter, you actually get in touch with your deepest inner laughter. Goodness and all those things you're talking about, they all come as a result. The more you're laughing, it's a habit. as I said, people don't laugh that much. It can become a tool. By laughing more, you're opening yourself up. Laughter as a tool can actually change your attitude towards things. It changes your perspective on things. Not only is it a physical manifestation that it releases feel-good chemicals, it becomes a spiritual way of life. The highest, the Dalai Lama laughs, a lot of spiritual, the laughing Buddha. Because what happens is when you really get in touch with your true self, joy, happiness, goodness, it becomes organic.
That's a very good point, because I know, like, from the research, as people become happier, they become better people. You know, they become more compassionate, kinder, more responsible. So I imagine laughter is more of an immediate experience, that as people are laughing, that might actually, you know, induce us to be better because we're feeling better. You know, we have more to give.
You do feel better. Now, the danger, and this is where, again, in the laughter clubs, we don't use jokes because jokes are subjective. And two people won't laugh at the same thing. So I'm approaching to get people to get all the benefits, mental, physical, spiritual benefits through the act of laughter. So if I'm telling jokes, hey, why did the chicken cross the road? I had to get to the other side. No one's laughing. I go, well, there's the benefits of the laughter class. Why we don't use humor, it's subjective. And number two, when we talk about laughter and humor, if you're talking about laughter, there are people that laugh and do jokes at the expense of someone. That's not what the laughter clubs. We don't do any jokes or anything at the expense. That's where laughter can get a bad rap. We don't want to be laughing at anybody. We want to be laughing with people. And, you know, I used to go into the comedy clubs, and it was not a lot of bashing of all kinds of groups, all kinds of people. And I just didn't like it. It doesn't feel good. So this is laughter, not laughing at anybody. It's laughter as a technique, a laughter for joy, a laughing at appropriate things. Laughter can help dissipate anger. It's a great tool for dissipating. You can't be angry and laughing at the same time. It's a great tool that the laughter clubs also can start world peace. When you're at peace with yourself, you know, you can't hurt anybody.
Yeah, actually, I mean, that brings me...
He's gagging on laughter. Like,
I'm inner laughing.
He's inner laughing.
No, because, I mean, laughter, I mean, it's not just Manhattan, it's not just the United States. You sent me an email recently about this, I guess it's a guy from, what was it, India, that he started it there.
Dr. Kataria. Now there's clubs all over the place. There's more than 800 clubs at this point, because they're seeing, again, how contagious is, what benefits. There's absolutely nothing negative about laughter. Every single thing about it has just a positive effect. And you were talking about education. If we can bring the idea of laughter and joy and make teaching more fun, teach kids the basics, respect, happiness, laughter, it makes the education could be more fun. Do things that are more interactive in a fun way instead of that dry. I just remember things I wrote, 1492. I just remember I was a rote machine. It's like, you know. But I feel I really I could have learned much easier, I think. And they say even through humor, through laughter, you retain things more. It's a better tool for teaching.
When I was giving classes at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, excuse me, had this sign I have made up called the Be Happy Zone. It's like a work sign, a road sign, you know, danger, you know, workers. Be Happy Zone. So some teachers have taken the class, and one teacher in particular said that she made a sign like that, a yellow sign, Be Happy Zone, for her class. And her class was probably 7th or 8th graders. And she said it was the best class she had ever taught. And there was one time when she came in late to the class, and what she would do is go and have the sign up for the kids. And this time when she came in late, the kids had put the sign up when she came in. There it was. And she thought that perhaps the reason there was much more camaraderie, caring, compassion, communication in that class was because when she verbalized and showed the class that she was concerned about them, they in turn reciprocated, and they felt her compassion, her caring about that, and then the whole thing was a win-win situation, which is really pretty extraordinary from something so simple. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, that's a transformative tool of laughter. I have people come in my class, and they're beaming. They're actually beaming. I mean, strangers are coming up and hugging me. I say, oh, that's nice. You know, they go, wow, this was great. It's also a great way because you're releasing tension. I mean, this laughter could be like the panacea, the great remedy for road rage. You get out of your car. And I do like transformation laughs. I call them transformation laughs in my class. I have one I made up. I used to work with some seniors, and I have the oi, oi, oi. It's like, oi, oi, ha, ha, ha. So you're taking your pains, your woes, and you're transforming it. And we have something called the argumentative laugh. Laughter, Victor Borger, famous comedian. Laughter is the shortest distance between two people. There is no barriers. When you can get people from all different cultures don't speak the same language. What's universal? Mm-hmm. Laughter. You know, if we had every person right now, every politician stood up and laughed in the UN. I wanted to do a laughter class in the UN. That just breaks everything down. If you're laughing, it bonds people. Problem with all of this, or the challenge, not the problem, is the challenge. It's, you know, when I tell people, I told you before, I was at a networking thing. And some people, they're just in a different consciousness about all this. I told this gentleman I have a laughter class. I said, why don't you come to my laughter class? He says, I wouldn't be caught dead in a laughter class. So what does this show you?
All right, well,
it's got such a negative...
Well, I think, yeah, we touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times in life, you know, we laugh at jokes, and a lot of jokes are just not tasteful. They're not, you know, they're at the expense of someone else.
Right.
Your technique of just laughing without that kind of an object is great because it's just more natural and all. But then, Lionel, you were referring to like how, like in that classroom, the teacher put up the sign about being happy, and that focus the class on it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably the same with laughter. I think a lot of times we don't laugh as much as we could because we just don't remember. We don't keep in mind the pleasure of it.
I think anything that's brilliant, anything that is the truth, in any respect, spiritual, whatever, everything it's a reminder of what is, of what was. Laughter, which is our natural gift, joy, our natural gift, it's a reminder, a happy card, oh yes. But because we're so crazed, we live in a crazed, like, you know, we have to produce deadlines are killing people. We have deadlines of people, lines of dead people, because they're working so hard and not allowing balance. Because why? We have economic challenges going on. We have, we're living in a Crayola a danger alert. What colors are our terrorist threats today? I mean, we have all of this. We're bombarded. We're bombarded by media with negative. Every place negative.
All right, let's get very practical with this. Like, you've got some people at home, right? And what would you suggest to them to use this in their lives? Right there at home. Whether they're alone or with friends.
Very good point.
Oh, yeah.
Alone or with friends. Well, you can have what I had. You could start like you can laugh with your friends. You just technically do breathing exercise. You could do three-part breathing. You could start with the mantras, just ho ho ha ha ha, ho ho ha ha ha, ho ho ha ha ha. I mean, like that. A smile, simple. The whole mind-body connection.
Change my state.
There you go. Well, we're still in New York, aren't we? I wish to change my state. Go to California.
Hey, we got to talk about movement.
Movement. Well, as you see, life is movement.
Because laughter is movement, yeah.
Laughter is movement. Actually, what happens is why you're getting a whole cardiac. When you're doing what they call full belly laughter, you're in convulsing.
Boy, do I get in trouble when I do that.
Right. I'm simulating laughter now. Whoa! When you're rolling and you're crying and uncontrolled, every muscle is at work. That's movement. What's happening is first, actually, all the muscles are tightening, and then there's a release.
Right.
You can't have life without movement. Right now, your body cells are moving, energy is moving. You know, we're electricity, we're water. I have this joke, if we're 80% water and we're electricity, how come we're not always in a state of shock? Because we are movement. Qi, in Chinese philosophy, life force, it's movement. That's why if you know, we have a couch potato society. Why are people getting sick? Kids, we have an obesity situation going on. Video games. You know what's going to happen in the next? You know, they say, like Darwin says, that you created for what fits. In the next generation, we're going to have like half a head and big thumbs, because this is basically.
But we'll be good at video games.
You will be good at video games. We're going to have big thumbs. But movement, I do movement as someone who's a dance training and someone who's been to every discotheque as a kid, as a teenager. Movement, again, when you're moving, you're having life go through. When you're moving, they have a whole thing, they give these words, authentic movement. A lot of people say to me, I can't dance. If you can move a foot, you're dancing. All you have to do is go within. You will naturally move. Everything. This is all, even though it looks solid, it's moving.
How about the idea that, like, you know, generally what we're fighting is stress. You know, that's a stressful society, a stressful world. And stress is really carried. We experience it in our mind as a feeling, but we carry it in our body.
Sure, that's why, again, it's the whole mind-body thing. You're formed, they have, again, it's emotions. You're formed by your emotions. I remember when I was younger and I really had really bad self-esteem. I used to walk like this. I was trying to hide. So I'm all contracted. Now, you can do these experiments yourself, because it's hard to feel self-confidence like this, but as soon as you open up yourself like this, you're going to change.
That's good, yeah.
Are we all feeling confident at home now? It's the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, it's very hard to feel, and I can't stand up, but if I could, it's very hard to feel, I'm so depressed. It's very hard to feel depressed. That's why most people are not like this when they're depressed. When they're depressed, it's concave.
Right.
The whole mind-body connection. Same thing. In kinesiology, they do muscle testing. They hold your arm up and they test it.
Guess what? We're out of time.
Yeah, this has been great, though. This has been awesome. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we have time for
I didn't get to test my muscle.
Thanks for watching. In the future, we'll explore other topics designed to help us better enjoy life. Be good, think well, feel very happy, laugh a lot. And I hope you'll join us next week here on The Happiness Show.
Right. And as they say, there's a Yiddish proverb. What soap is to the body, laughter is to the soul.
Oh, that's great. I love it. That was fantastic.
Happiness is powerful. It's our underlying need. Happiness is why we live each day. Happiness is destiny. So let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy. Yeah, let's be so very happy.